Don't fart.
You hear that, y'all? He farted.
Oh, so stinky, man.
Guys,
Damn,
don't fart.
man. What did you eat?
Everybody, don't fart out. It's like, Ganja, that was probably the best way we've ever started this. Just don't fart.
I gotta find a can of air freshener. That shit was nice.
Did you actually fart?
That shit was like little.
He has one of those angry video game nerd shits.
Oh God,
Like
that's a particular type of shit too. By the way, God dang. I don't know why he has a thing with shitting on every single thing that he ever talks about, and it's like always like the nice, like juicy liquid shit. It's so fucking gross. I can't stand that stuff. But hey,
He's
guys.
very good at descripting a good wet turd.
Exactly. Yeah, I made that shit sound like appealing. Like you would actually buy that shit at a fucking restaurant.
Cowabunga piece of dog shit.
That was rough, especially in the song too. When College Justin says it, he's like, it's an angry video game nerd. What a cowabunga piece of dog shit. It's like, okay, yeah, you're just trying to cuss, trying to fucking combine all these other words.
Rather have a buffalo take a diarrhea
dump on my ear. On my ear.
He'd rather eat the rotten asshole of a roadkill
skunk
and down it with
beer. Everyone, Gary Egan, how you doing, man? What's up, guys? Not much, sir. How about you? Togi Pop's over there saying, I like teddy bear penis. What?
Teddy bear
Can we brag just a little bit? Because we actually had someone from the channel Awesome actually watch us on the show. I think it was Brad Jones actually stayed in for like 30 minutes to an hour and just actually hung out with the chat. That was like, what, I think a year or two ago, but that still was fucking cool for me.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Why'd you bring that up? I'm curious. What happened?
We were just saying about the angry video game nerd, and that's like kind of synonymous with that guy with the glasses.
Oh yeah, no, I mean that's the thing too. I really wish I would see Brad Jones again, watching us or whatever the fuck. I mean, we had Nick. What's his name? Nick. What? History buffs.
Oh, Nick. I almost said Nick Diaz. We always.
Diaz. Oh my God, I can't believe he's here.
Yeah, we always keep Nick Diaz on tech, but Nick Hodges, yeah, we had him on right before his channel blew up. Like that was like I think. He had like 500,000 subscribers, and then like the next 2 weeks, he was like up to like 1 million.
Yeah, and then fucking who else has come on here? Jax Blade's another one. So
Shit,
yeah,
Jax Blade's had a fucking Kotaku article written about him.
Yeah, well, I mean, he's way bigger than fucking like some art Kotaku thing now. Like he's fucking huge.
I just think that he had to come back right when we're doing like the most fucked up joke possible. Like, man, you gotta go, man. You gonna fuck up your career.
Yeah, exactly. But Roger Bear's over here not fucking up his career. He's watching G1 Supercard. That's awesome. I know everyone's talking about NXT TakeOver. We might talk about it tomorrow if we do a ringside hangout. I haven't even talked to Trey yet, and I just realized Hovig's actually.
I gotta bring back shit's that's dead, man. Why?
Because like we're basically we died a few times. You two killed us before. Remember that?
I died in your arms a few times.
Yeah.
It must have been something you said.
Yeah, it has. Is that a reference to a song?
Yeah, if you played enough Grand Theft Auto Vice City like me, you would get the song.
Yeah. No, I wasn't playing like inferior Rockstar games. I was playing the good ones like San Andreas and GTA 5.
I'm moving on to that now. I'm trying to do the trophies for some reason on PlayStation.
Mm-hmm.
I guess it's because like slowly I'm starting to realize I have a little bit more free time than I should have. But I'm not trying to go for the fucking trophies.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think that's a pretty cool thing to do anyways as well. Just because, like, if you do that and you get used to, like, being a collector or whatever, you can actually go on, Facebook, do a live stream and just be like, hey, guys, I'm used to collecting these fucking trophies. I'm going to do it for all these games. San Andreas has the hardest ones to do, the tags and the hidden packages and doing the fucking, like, extra stunt missions.
Like Vice City, I don't think has a cheat disability, so you can still cheat as long as you just redo your save again. It doesn't count as you cheated throughout the game. Whereas Vice City, San Andreas is really on top of that.
Yeah, Vice City is one of those games where I had a lot of fun just going crazy and just doing whatever the fuck I want. San Andreas made sure to give you this little, like, I don't know if you remember this, but they have, like, this little rating on top of the screen that says, like, if you're a baller, if you're a badass, if you're a gangster, if you're cool, if you're a hitman, based on the points that you use for killing people and whatnot. Now, if you start cheating, it lowers you, or it literally insults you. Like, it gives you, like, insulting names, So, right. I thought that was really cool about that. But, yeah, man, Vice City, so this is still one of your favorite Rockstar games?
Always. It's more because I have a connection to, like, I grew up in Florida, and this is literally just a game based around the height of, like, the early, like, late 80s, early 90s, when a lot of this shit was actually going on. There was, like, a lot of chaos. Like, everyone knows of Florida now, but back in the 80s, it was a staple of Florida as being known as the craziest state in the goddamn union, especially at the height of the cocaine epidemic, which is when Vice City takes place. And I just like the aesthetics, like, all the different types of building designs, because We're planning a trip to go down to Miami. It's going to be me, Ruthless, and a few other people. I don't know if anybody here is going to be joining us later on. They might announce it because I know a few of you guys got to save money. Tax season really hit you hard, Nick. But when it comes to like Miami, it has a lot of that old school aesthetic that I remember growing up with because for a lot of things that happened around Florida, the 80s and 90s aesthetics didn't die until like around 2002, 2003. That's when a lot of that West Coast and like sort of East Coast style kind of come in with the long white tees and people starting to dress more in terms of like a hip hop fashion rather than an 80s Miami Vice look. So I was right there to remember that when the stores were still up, they still had the neon colors, and you still have South Beach. I was lit up in that like very 80s vibe. Some of South Beach now, and if we do the Miami trip, and you guys go down, I'd love to show you that. But some parts of South Beach is still like Vice City, but a lot of it is just reinvented and just modern now. So now to actually, like, when I play Vice City, it kind of gives me a little bit of taste of the stuff that I remember having like a little bit of a taste of growing up around 5, 8 years old. And it's also fun because a lot of the stuff is based around places that I remember going to, like the Miami Beach and stuff like that, or doing the long highway trips to the Keys. It's just something that I always like had a good fascination with because it was my hometown. Our best example is if they made a game in Arizona that wasn't based around the cartel. You love the fuck out of it.
Mad Max.
Yeah, pretty much.
The one thing, and I was showing this on the screen right now, but I was going to ask you, did you ever play Vice City Stories?
I did, but the problem with that is like it required a PSP, and I was very anti PSP for a little bit because once I had got it from like I think I told the story before that I got from a mishap with GameStop. I played a little bit of it. It was mostly for Ape Escape, but all the new games I really weren't interested to it, and I wasn't really interested in Vice City Stories because when I played it, it really just felt like I was playing a mod version of a campaign for Vice City.
Yeah, and Al, I'm going to ask you really quick, too. I know that you've been quiet and everything, but, like, you and I talked so much about Grand Theft Auto, especially 4 and versus 5. But what is, like, officially your favorite Rockstar video game?
Vice City.
Vice City? Really? Okay, I'm surprised. Yeah, man. Vice City is actually a pretty cool game. Didn't enjoy it as much as, lots of other ones, but I will say, like, that's one of the first ones that's pretty fucking big when it, first came out and whatnot.
Andreas still can't be beat.
Thank you. That's what I was going to say, too.
You guys just say that because it's more fucking artistic shit. Not artistic, but more activities and shit that you can do in it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Plus, like, black people.
Wait, hold on.
Hold on.
You don't support black art. What's going on here?
Oh, don't say that.
That one I do.
Oh, that's the only one in San Andreas? Oh, my God.
Damn right.
Is that like the high definition mod?
Yeah, this is high definition mod. I know. Like, when I saw it, I was like, wait, hold on. This is fucking sexy, bro.
This is not the San Andreas I remember, sir.
Well, I mean, we're trying to win this argument, so I have to put up whatever looks the prettiest.
Yeah, this is not what it looks like. I played a little bit on the PlayStation 2 recently. That the lighting is way too clean, first of all.
Yeah.
He's just saying that because he doesn't support black business.
Exactly, yeah. He'd rather support Green Book. You know how he is.
Hey, man, I'm out here trying to unite the races. Over here, y'all trying to divide, segregate, and shit. I'm trying to unite.
Yeah, Tay saying, good Lord, San Andreas does not age well. No, what I was showing on screen, Tay, that was beautiful, girl.
That's not, no, that don't count, sir.
I do think they do need to basically remake it, though.
Look, it's literally trying to make the lighting better, but it can't.
No, that looks beautiful. Why don't you shut the fuck? That looks great. God damn.
So you want a high definition remake as well?
Yes. If we're doing it for every other game that's ever fucking existed, absolutely.
You already got a high definition remake. It's called GTA 5.
They ain't the same goddamn thing.
They are the same fucking
It's pretty
game.
close.
No, they goddamn. They are not.
There's just less stuff to go on in GTA 5 because all of it was pushed towards the multiplayer. But when I played that single player campaign again, I was like, oh, cool. I'm going to put all the graphics to high. I got this new badass PC that I'm going to test my limits on. I'm playing a little bit of the campaign. I'm like 2 hours in. I'm like, oh, my God. This is just San Andreas redubbed. Like, I'm just playing the older version of a white dude doing the same thing that CJ is supposed to do. Like,
yeah, but it's not the same thing. That's why the magic isn't completely there.
Yeah, it doesn't have the range.
It does not have the range.
Yeah.
I don't know that inside joke between you two, but I know y'all wrong.
No,
I'm
man.
just saying. It does not have the range.
Really close to being my favorite Rockstar game has to be Red Dead Redemption 2. Just because of the fact, like, if all it needed was activity be going on. Because here's the thing, that game, just take away all that bullshit with the horses and all that cinematic shit. That easily could have been the best Rockstar game. And I will say, like, if I recommend any Rockstar game to anybody, especially when I get with the new shit, yeah, I'm gonna recommend Red Dead Redemption 2. Fuck yeah. I don't think the game is very fun after you spend so much fucking time playing. It's not worth the money it was. But all you had to do was just take out the boring shit, and that easily could have been the best. Because Red Dead Redemption 1 was one of the best games. I think it was like right underneath San Andreas when that first came out. It's better than all the Grand Theft Auto games, I think. You know, the first one. So yeah, man. Like I don't know what you feel about that.
You are so fucking wrong. That's how I feel about that.
Really.
It to me, it feels like literally a cowboy mod for GTA 5.
Well, wasn't the first one technically that too then?
To a certain degree, but like with Red Dead, it felt like it was own universe. It felt like there was its own kind of story going along. I was really never a fan of the original series, anyways. I got like being past to where you got to Mexico, and it just felt like I was playing a long story that wasn't building up to anything, and I wasn't upgrading. And my weapons kind of stayed still at a certain point because I learned how to figure out how to get the best weapons early on by just robbing it from people. Mm-hmm. So I feel like the same thing with this new Red Dead. I feel like a lot of the single player stuff are just activities to keep you going in terms of just keeping the caravan alive and just trying to keep you busy. There's no real reason to do these activities. They don't add up to the storyline. They don't add up to your character's development. And from what I hear, it doesn't add up to the main story in no sense at all. It's just fun things for you to do in the universe. And you could have done that with a massive multiplayer Red Dead. You didn't have to just do it for a single player that's just basically a Hollywood story. That was my main problem with Red Dead. It felt too much like a Hollywood movie and not enough as a video game. And the video game parts were very just in the middle down to like, hey, it's just shooting combat. There's nothing else extra. Like, even when you go hunting, it's right down to just put it on the Deadeye and killing the animals. There's really no kind of real strategy to it. And I just feel like I'm just riding the horse around for just the whole day. And the activities that are in town aren't really all that fun. Like, you have the gambling aspect, but that only goes so far. And then you have certain, like, little, like, dominoes and certain little extra activities. But besides that, it's very barren. There's nothing you do really adds up to anything, and it feels so linear that it didn't have to be open world. Honestly, you could have made that just a straight on story, kind of in the same vein as Wolfenstein, and it would have stayed game in the same kind of gameplay.
Yeah, and Alan, you said that in the chat. You said that it feels like a diluted GTA 4. Do you feel like that more so with story or with gameplay?
Gameplay. There's always a problem with the first Red Dead, in which let's get every single gameplay mechanic from GTA 4, but let's completely dilute it. The cover system, there's no physics behind when you're covering rocks. You might as well be on a smooth cylinder. The gunplay feels identical to GTA 4. The fucking combat, the melee combat system, just hold R until they're dead.
Yeah.
There is nothing that's why I hate Red Dead 1. I legit hate that fucking game. Or at least to the second one, like, nah, fuck it. We're going to master this fucking engine that we created with 4, master it to its fucking 100% efficiency, and make a cowboy sim out of it. So it's like, yeah, it's a very Hollywood story, but that's not a fucking bad thing. It's a dedicated story in which you get to be a part of it. That's why I think Red Dead 2 is way better than 1.
Yeah, and Julian's saying Red Dead 2 is great. The only thing that really sucks about it is the epilogue. Yeah, I can kind of see that too. And just like I said, the length of it is really annoying to me. One thing I'm kind of curious about, and we haven't seen anyone talk about this on Polygon or Eurogamer or anything. DLC. I mean, Undead Nightmare was one of the biggest things for the first Red Dead Redemption. Why haven't we got like an Undead 2 or maybe like an Alien version or something, like Cowboys versus Aliens, like the video game version? Like, would you guys be interested in something like that, or has there been talks about that? Is something I'm fucking missing, or?
I hated the fucking the Undead Nightmare pack because that was at the peak of zombie bullshit. Every single thing had a zombie fucking DLC. Like, that's when Black Ops came out. That's Black Ops did there, or not Black Ops. That's when the World at War came out. Then you had that. Then you had Left 4 Dead being into popular. I was so sick of that, and the story is so fucking bad. But everyone just liked the fact that it was just zombies. So it's like, they have to be thinking that. Like, nobody at Rockstar is going, "Are we ever going to do this?" They have to be thinking that. But it's probably they spent so long baking it that there's no way that it's ready to come out. Like, I'd be surprised. Like, next year we'll see it.
The only fun part about the zombie game mode is they actually added to the multiplayer. Like, you can get on a server that had all the zombies and the demons and stuff, and that added to the fun of just running around as a cowboy and a bunch of people trying to survive the different zombie experiences. Mm-hmm. But besides that, it was real no fun for it. Like, the story was really more half-assed than Red Dead 2. And I just feel like it was just an add-on of DLC for people that always wanted to have a zombie mode in GTA games, but they were never going to fucking do it. Like, you had to download. I remember, like, for like the longest time, San Andreas used to have these mods that people that would just make their own zombie modes, where they would just try to edit different character models and just add on to the riot mode, where the characters just try to attack each other that are zombies. And that's always been a staple of the GTA series, and even now it's gone on to Red Dead with the actual official DLC. I wouldn't be surprised if they do it next year for Halloween, but honestly, I highly doubt they would want to do it anyways.
Really quick, I wanted to bring this up because I'm actually pretty surprised on this, and this is something that we weren't even talking about this at all. But yeah, so we're talking about Red Dead Redemption. Just like, I mean, even though Red Dead Redemption 2 came out recently, it's like a new thing, whatever the fuck. before then, it was an old property that no one really gave a shit about. And one of those that I keep seeing that no one wants to talk about, but I see it every often just pop up on fucking the internet because some cool thing happened, is Little Big Planet. And apparently, this is something I just read, I guess it came out today on Polygon, but someone created Super Mario Maker inside Little Big Planet, which is fucking insane to me. Do you guys feel Little Big Planet will ever make a comeback? I'll start off with you. Well, you hope not? What the fuck?
I don't give a shit about Little Big Planet.
What? Why you do this to me sometimes?
Because it's trash.
What?
Literally, Little Big Planet is their attempt at Minecraft, and nobody cared.
No, it's before Minecraft, I believe, right?
No, it was about the same time. Minecraft's been around for fucking ever.
Little Big Planet was way before Minecraft. I think it was for the PS3.
No, because Little Big Planet was for the PS3. Minecraft came out before then, but it was on PC, so no one cared. It was that budding PC market. It wasn't until I want to say 2 or 3 years into the life cycle when Little Big Planet 2 was almost coming out that it became the most popular thing in the world. But it was their attempt, like, hey, Minecraft's popular on the PC. Let's do the console version of Minecraft before the console version of Minecraft.
Yeah, because Hornet came out around the same time. As a matter of fact, yeah, okay. I mean, and I'm not saying that you're wrong, because I would have been confused too. But apparently, yeah, this came out October 21st, 2008, and then I believe Minecraft came out in 2009. Maybe there was a different one. Maybe this one's for 360, and then there's like an older
Really?
Minecraft.
There's a year? I don't know. Like, I know the Minecraft's been around for
different.
fucking ever. But even at the same time, like, even if they're both basically aping the same idea, but with Little Big Planet, I always felt like unless you're really like, because people were like, oh man, you could code levels and shit like that. But that's the crazies though. Like the actual entry level was so just bare bones that unless you spent 10 hours straight trying to do something, you never really got anything out of it. Whereas Minecraft, like you can immediately do something.
Yeah, no, I mean, I really like Little Big Planet a lot. I felt like PlayStation needed something kind of new like that because you had all these peripherals and all these weird little things that all the other consoles were doing, and PlayStation was like, oh, we got games.
Peripherals. I don't know if you can find it, but I forgot what E3 was. It had to be early 2005, 2006. It was either for the PS3 or the PS4 when it first coming out. And it was this tabletop thing where you would put it up. I don't know if it was connected to the eye or anything, but they had a simulator where it was a card game that you could play with the 3D models and stuff. It was trying to be like the first at AR technology. They did that for that one E3, and they dropped it. Never seen it again. Never seen a commercial for it. Never seen another fucking a good example of it on a showroom store. It was gone. Just disappeared after that E3. Like,
wait, was it Tabletop Cricket?
No, it wasn't Tabletop Cricket because that was the one that you had the wand. They actually did that shit. This is like a PlayStation 3 game that was just demoed at E3 where you could play with a dragon and shit. And it was supposed to be all the car simulators. They even teased a Yu-Gi-Oh game for it. And it just gone, disappeared. They just gave up on it. And Sony is the most guilty one at that. So I'm not surprised that people haven't really fucked around with a lot of games. And Little Big Planet was one of those games that kind of had the vibe of this is just a tech demo game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So that's all it was. And I'm surprised they made 3 of them.
Yeah, because I'm looking
sequel to Little Big Planet.
No, because I'm looking over here too, and I will say these wands, and I'll show this really quick. These wands were fucking garbage, and I remember they used to combine them with the goddamn what is it called, Resistance 3.
Move, the eye, yeah.
Yeah, and the sharpshooter. That's what it's called, the sharpshooter.
Oh, that fucking pile of shit.
Yeah, and I you know, my bad for not pointing it up, y'all, but like, yeah, man, like that fucking thing was a complete piece of trash. I used to use that for, I mean, it wasn't meant to be used for Unreal Tournament, but I did use it for that. It fucked up. But it was meant to be used for Resistance 3, and holy shit did it not work. And, yeah, they discontinued that pretty quick, I believe. I think it was like a 2-year lifespan, 3-year lifespan. So, yeah, I don't know. Peripherals, I miss the days of peripherals, honestly. I do wish that they would come back, just not from the PS3 era. There was shit way before then that was fucking awesome. And,
nah, man,
like
I'm
what?
sorry. Hard stance on peripherals. I think almost every one of them has sucked. Like every one of them every single peripheral that's ever been created, from the Nintendo Zapper to every single thing Nintendo ever tried to do, Sony ever tried to do, and Microsoft ever tried to do, was to replace the controller, and none of them have ever worked. All of them have been garbage.
Well, the save slot thing for Super Nintendo was great because you got to save your game no matter where you were at. That was awesome.
The only good peripherals were ones that were not made by Sony. Like I remember they made it later became a Sony official product, but originally it started off with the Wolf Pack or some shit. I forgot what the game company was, but they were the ones that made a lot of the clear controllers that broke after like 3 months of use. But they had this thing that was basically an adapter, so you could plug in 4 multiplayers, and you could actually play multiplayer games that allow 4 people. So you didn't have to go out of your way to go and hook up.
Oh, I saw the one for 8, where you could just have and break the fucking game sometimes.
No, that shit was fucking fun. They had the ability to actually work in the games that had multiplayers, and it was very user friendly and it was very accessible. Same thing with a lot of the Game Shark stuff like that. So some peripherals were fucking fun. They added to the gaming experience. But then you had some whack ass like DDR step pads that were like $30 cheaper than the one they got to get officially, and you had to just stomp the fuck out your floor in order to get that shit to activate at the right time.
The thing is, people are bringing up the Guitar Hero stuff. The reason I didn't count that is, one, it's a third-party peripheral that was designed exclusively for one game. Now, there are crazies out there that were able to mod it to play Dark Souls for some fucking reason, but the Guitar Hero controller was exclusively designed for one game. It was not designed to be played with other stuff. Just because you were able to do so does not mean it was the intended design was not to play a first-person shooter. It was only to play one game. That's why I didn't count it.
Yeah, and by the way, Jet, you're over here asking, oh, well, which one was fucking good? Have you ever seen the fucking racing simulator for PS1 and everything afterwards for Gran Turismo?
You said racing simulator, so I'm gonna go ahead and say no.
Let me just show you.
Or at least I didn't give a shit.
These were amazing. This literally brought the arcade to your fucking
You
house.
think I give a shit about racing games?
Oh, those fucking racing! I hated those fucking things.
Are you serious? These are so fucking
Dude,
great.
those things were like 30 pounds, and they just broke.
Look how much that is to just fuck.
That by the way, that
For that price, I better be fucking going somewhere.
That's the price of consoles, man. Like, look at that shit, man. Like, you have an entire car. Just drive a car, man.
No, but here's the thing, though.
You're halfway there.
If you're smart, if you're a businessman like me, a.k.a. a piece of shit, sir, yes, I wear that fucking thing. I wear that badge on myself. When I was a kid, I used to, because I had PS1, and I had Gran Turismo 1 and 2, and they're simulation games. So it's like, oh, every time you play a game, you feel like you're doing some real...
That was actually a good
It's coming to like a shitload of money that I could just waste it on some bullshit and not feel guilty because I got everything on my priorities checked off before then. I was always going to get the original Star Wars arcade game. The one with the stick that you sat in the chair and you did like a lightsaber battle with Boba Fett, the Emperor, and Darth Vader. Mm-hmm. That shit was my jam growing up. I spent so many quarters, so many tokens, so many Chuck E. Cheese money down on that bitch. And if I ever come into some fucking money, I'm going to get it.
I remember a friend of mine, and this is not something that actually came out, but remember those big pulse rifles that used to go to the Terminator 2 video game and you shoot the fucking Terminators? My friend had one with the little bazooka button on the side. It was like the Super Scope. He used to use that fucking thing. And I'm telling you, if Nintendo or Acclaim or somebody actually went out there and sold those fucking things, I would have bought one. I would have loved it. I would have been so happy. Damn it.
I wish VR was actually really good. Because one of the things I was hyped for was those lightsaber games that were going to come out with that shit. And then Star Wars like, yo, we got this official one. You get the lightsaber, you get to play the VR game, all in one setup, $100. I went to Best Buy and I checked it out, a demo of it. Mm-hmm. Man, it's so fucking trash.
Was that the Star Wars demo for Kinect?
Yeah.
That was a piece of shit.
It just reminded me of those basic fucking motion control games that you would get at the mall. That was like, oh, cool. If you swing to the left, swing to the right, the controller moves left to the right. It's the most basic kind of like peripheral you can get.
Well, because the problem with that, because I have a VR headset and I played, like, I love sword fighting games more than fucking anything. That's half my library. Those are awful in VR. Those are the worst. It feels like you're just sticking a twig like you're a 3-year-old because you can't emulate real world sword fighting in virtual. You can't do the physics like that.
And also, by the way, and I was going to bring this up, so I'm glad you brought that up, Alan, and you, Ganja, but I think I won Jet over on this one. Jet? You can't talk shit about this motherfucker right here, the Wii Nunchuck. Everybody knows about the Wii Nunchuck, and nobody ever has an issue with the Nunchuck. No one's ever
like that was Nintendo. Like, I thought we were talking about PlayStation here.
No. Even if we're talking Nintendo, that was a dedicated controller. But honestly, it was never necessary.
Y'all avoiding the obvious criticism. He's trying to use me in the support of a Nintendo product. You fucked up all.
Even if you wanted to go to the actual Wii, that thing was so utterly pointless to the actual, like, except for everything in the Wii Sports, which is probably one of the best games ever made at this point. Every other game never utilized that properly. It was either just a swipe, which it didn't end up mattering because that's the same thing as a button press. Like, it was functional because it was a controller first, but most games never utilized it properly. That's why they designed the Wii Motion Plus, so that they can actually get some use out of it, but only 3 games ever use that.
The Nunchuck?
Yeah.
Well, the Nunchuck was in addition to the Wii Mode. You can't use the Nunchuck by itself.
Like, I always use the Nunchuck. Like, that's what I use to just walk. But like basically every game that had to walk in, that's what I use. But I mean, like that's not really the whatchamacallit.
Yeah, the thing. Like
yeah, that's literally part of the Wiimote though. Like by itself, like.
Well, I think it was very, very important for that Wii remote. I mean, same thing with the gamepad.
Even though you don't really like completely need it, you can do well without it.
True, but then Garrett, call you Garrett, Ganja. Don't you?
Who the fuck is that?
Don't you fucking go over there and go against me with Gary, you motherfucker, just because you like Nintendo, you don't want to fucking admit to it. Now the nunchuck though, look, I know it's with it, but same thing with the gamepad and same thing with the Switch. Let's not lie to each other now and say just because the Switch is a new thing, you're all gonna act like that's not peripheral in it fucking self, because it is. Its mobility is the peripheral. You know what I mean? Like
but it still is functional. The problem isn't that peripherals suck in general. Is that most of them never were either never their intended purpose or never worked properly. The Switch is functional. Yeah, there's nothing non-functional about the Switch.
Yeah, we were talking about like fucking PlayStation, like maybe Xbox, because both their shit was fucking terrible.
And you don't have to take the Switch out. You can easily just hook it up and play all the games you want to play on there. Yeah, it's there, but it's like anything else. You don't have to ever take it out of your house if you don't want to. But does it work? When you put a game in, does everything work as intended? Yeah. There's nothing non-functional about the Switch.
Okay. I mean, well, I haven't played yet, so I'm gonna stop arguing at that point. But
I'm wishing for Nintendo's demise every day. I'll let you know if I ever get something to help you.
If Nintendo demises,
that's not happening anytime
soon. Yeah, Ganja, you gotta stop hating the fucking thing that literally made this industry. You wouldn't be in the games if it wasn't for Nintendo.
No, the fuck I won't. They almost banned all type of vulgar games, anything with blood, violence, and that shit. Okay. Because I think it was Dreamcast that made that one simulator where you have to stop the girls from being raped, slumber party bullshit. But they took it all the way to the court case and trying to censor that fucking video game because they didn't deem it as family fun. Like, you would have had Disney video games, like fuck Kingdom Hearts, as the general rule for video games in this country till God knows how long. That means Grand Theft Auto, Red Dead, anything, hell, even some of the Lord of the Rings games has got blood and violence and it wouldn't have been done. So as far as I'm concerned, Nintendo go fuck themselves.
By the way, I just want to put this out there too. You're over here like, oh, damn, bullshit, I would still be in the games if it wasn't for Nintendo. Who the fuck was going to get you in the games? Atari with fucking pole position, sir? Like, what the fuck are you going to play?
Hey man, Custer's Revenge was very historically accurate, all right?
And also, like, most game companies do, like, terrible shit. Just basically saying, like, yeah, Nintendo's, like, the worst of the worst is fucking bullshit.
Yeah, you're wrong as shit.
You only say that because you're an Animal Planet.
Animal Planet. Yeah, well, you like Animal Planet.
He's confusing Disney and Discovery.
You ain't an Animal Crossing pocket pussy playing ass.
Yeah, because it's fun, because it's an actual quality mobile game.
It's made for toddlers, all right? I hope you enjoy a toddler game like you enjoy your toddler iPhone.
Well, what's the problem with toddler games? Like, if they're fun, I'm going to fucking play them. Like, what kind of argument is that? Shut up. Go sit down.
There's not a lot wrong with toddler games, but there is shit wrong with toddler movies, and this is why I'm upset about this fucking bit of news. Apparently, Transformers 6 is not going to be a direct sequel to Last Night, which means they're probably going to get some more Bumblebee fucking little, movie for little kids bullshit coming out. I'm fucking irritated as shit to know about this.
Love that you hated that Bumblebee movie, and that was like the first Transformer in a while that I was like, man, this is a good movie.
Yeah, because you're wrong. No, I'm not going to say that.
Shit. Y'all paid to see that fucking movie. Y'all did this.
I'm just saying, everyone in the chat, too, would probably gonna say, no, Bumblebee was fine. No, it's cool. You're just saying that because it's in a different age where it's like Michael Bay, just his name on something is like a curse more so than a pro on something. And I gotta tell you,
y'all over here paying for his movies like he said you guys were going to instead of pirating them, and now look what's happening.
No, it's not. It's not just that, because the thing is too is like the idea of what they had going on for Bumblebee was a cool idea. It is cool to kind of fix everything, go through some kind of rehabilitation process with the whole fucking franchise because it needs it. Fucking give us Beast Wars and just come up with a new story with no fucking humans around fucking everything up. But no, they didn't do that. What happened?
You really want him to touch Beast Wars?
Hell yes.
He wants him to slap his dick all over Beast Wars.
No.
Mm-hmm.
Just not like that.
Just straight teabag that shit.
Okay, do you think it'd be... Let me ask you this. I'm going to ask the chat this too. Chat, let me know what you think. But
ask me, baby,
do you feel like Michael Bay would find some kind of way to sexualize Beast Wars? And keep in mind, Beast Wars is a universe where there is no humans. How can he sexualize just robots? Alan, I'm going to have you go first. Do you think he can do that?
How can he sexualize just robots?
He will find a fucking way. There are female robots in that fucking show. They will find a way to bend her over something.
They're gonna give that. I think she was the eagle chick, just big old robot titties.
She got ass for days. That helps her fly.
For some reason,
And
Black
he's gonna
Arachnia
give
is like a helpless woman or something.
Oh yeah, sexy
He's
ass
gonna give-
cheetah woman. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's gonna give that fucking Spider Woman a big old ass.
Well, she already has a big old ass. And by the way, it's a spider.
Yeah, I
How's she
know.
not gonna have an ass?
Yeah,
but you're gonna
there
see
you go.
the
There's
crack.
the
Okay, if that's
sexualization right there.
Jet, if that's sexualized, you're the one making that a sexual thing. You're looking at it and being like, "Damn, look at that fucking Spidey butt." Like, that's
Yeah, and that
ridiculous.
ass is gonna be all up in our faces and whatnot. And you know what else it's gonna have? A nice big old spider crack.
No.
Cut right down the middle in our Lord Jesus.
The needle, cut right down the middle, y'all.
Mm-hmm.
Hollow Man says, "Now, fuck Bumblebee bumbling ass." Oh shit, no man. I don't know, man. I gotta tell you, I don't think Michael Bay could do that. Alan's gonna have you go really quick though. Like, what do you think? Do you think he might be able to sexualize the world of Beast Wars?
Look, there's never been a single good live action adaptation of an animated feature. So no, I don't want them to. Beast Wars is my favorite show ever. Fuck that. Keep it fucking animated. Do another fucking, remake it or something, or do another continuation of the series on Netflix or some shit. Don't do live action. It's gonna fucking ruin it.
Would
You're
you like
never gonna
them-
be able to.
I was gonna ask you, would you like them to keep with that whole reboot looking like fucking animation style that they had? I don't know if you understood what I said.
No, I heard what you said. I'm just thinking it's because the reason the animation style looked what it was. One, it was money, and two, you could really clearly more so. At least that's what made the first Transformers really good. Is you could clearly see the parts that would morph into other parts. It wasn't a situation where it's like, wait, how the hell did you become a truck? It's like, no, we could kind of see the pieces that would make you a tiger, a gorilla, all that stuff. So I think keeping it at least the same, but maybe updating it a little bit, because yeah, some stuff hasn't aged well, but like just update the current art style. Like Justice League versus the Fatal Five just came out, and they basically went back to the old animation style of the 90s and early 2000s, but they made it super slick because it's 2019. Do something like that.
Yeah. Jill, I know Julian's fucking with you, so we'll handle this as well as we can. But he says
That does not fucking count, and you goddamn know it.
no, that counts, dude.
That
Come
doesn't
on.
count. They're taking the character and they're doing their own story. That's saying they might be doing similar stuff in the comics, but it's not like it started as an animated feature, like created as an animated fucking feature, like we see with a bunch of manga and anime. That does not fucking count.
It will have to start off as like, oh, this is a continuation of the animated feature. Like with Batman itself, like it does not have any connotation to the actual animated series. In order for it to actually be a continuation or quote unquote live action, it has to be redone in terms of like all the character storylines and different aesthetics are trying to be used in live action. You never see that with any of the different type of animations that came out in the 90s and early 2000s of Spider-Man, Batman, Superman, none of that.
Wait, are we talking about like animated things like the animated show, or are we talking about comics? Because like I can't see
He's trying to say animated shows because sometimes they have the Saturday morning cartoons. Jet. He's trying to say that passes.
Yeah, because Avatar: The Last Airbender is a perfect fucking example of this. They tried and it was awful. Because there's no way you can get that animation style to look good on live action. Beast Wars would be the exact same fucking way. You guys hate like 5 out of the 7 Transformers movies that are out? Do you really think Beast Wars can be any better because it has a better fucking origin? It'll be just as bad as Last Airbender.
Yeah, I mean, I see where you could be right. It's just, I don't know, man. I think that'd be the safest place to put Michael Bay because when it comes to Beast Wars and these fucking robots talking to each other and shit, the only thing you want to see is shit explode. You don't want to see no story. And I know that that's like a bad thing. Like, obviously it will never make, it'll never win an award and no one's ever going to say, oh, it's a great film. It's like, Transformers movies are not films. They're just okay. Duh. You just want to fucking.
The thing is, Beast Wars was story related. That's why we loved it. Not because it was explosions. I mean, there's probably sometimes where there's episodes where no action happened, but it was the characters that we grew to love. So that when characters passed, it was the most hurtful thing in the fucking world. If Optimus died tomorrow, no. Like in the movies, like yeah, you might get a few people that remember Optimus from the old day, but it won't be as heartfelt as when fucking Optimus died during Beast Wars. Like he died in the second one and no one cared.
Yeah, no, that's true. I mean, well, I don't know why they have a really weird thing about killing Optimus every fucking chance they get. That's kind of ridiculous.
Optimus!
Yeah, it's like, how many times can I cry about the same fucking death? You know what I mean?
Didn't
Like,
even cried once.
wait, what happened?
Shouldn't even have cried once.
I mean, don't lie.
come
You
on.
at least cried when the giant robot balls appeared.
Yeah,
Oh,
and
God,
by the
we
way,
all
this is
did.
coming from Jet, who fucking laughs at Iron Man almost dying in Infinity War. So, like, I want to hear from fucking evil pants over here. Like,
So?
no, that's fucked up. Iron Man's had so many movies. He's literally the fucking staple of Avengers, and like you're crying or you're laughing basically.
And am I supposed to feel sorry for that bitch? I know.
Yeah,
Hey, all
A little
I know is
bit.
20 more
Not like
days
it's Hawkeye.
before Thanos gets in the ass. 20 more days.
Yeah. JP's making fun of me, saying, Nick, quote, "You don't care about the story in games. Say that to my face, you lying sack of failure." I don't know why, but that actually hurt my feelings.
You had a flashback to your pop?
You lying sack of failure.
Well, all I know is, JP, video games not art. Get at me.
Oh, Tay, come on. Tay saying Tony's an asshole. He's not an asshole.
No,
He's trying to
no,
save the fucking world.
Tony Stark is a dick.
Oh, fuck. Yeah, you know what? No, I'm not even going to go into it because, it's that millennial shit. Like, oh, you almost hurt somebody. Think about, like, why he was trying to do this shit. Age of Ultron. Why was he trying to create Ultron? To save you, ungrateful motherfuckers.
I'm not talking about that. He's just a dick in general. Like, the way he condones himself, the way he treats people in his life. He's kind of an asshole.
I guarantee you, Captain America is that nice guy, in quotes, that will literally be like, no, they pick me. I'm so nice to you. And then after they start, like, dating him and shit, he beats his fucking wife. Okay, that's what Captain America is. Tony would just be an asshole straight up.
Who said you could smack my ass?
Why did it have to be there? No, I literally, Captain America just has that face. Chris Evans, he has that face of just, I know you're an asshole. I just know you're an asshole. Maybe it's jealousy from me.
More than the asshole face of basically Robert Downey Jr.
Yes.
The literal asshole.
So you can't see yourself drinking with Robert Downey Jr. just having a good old time talking shit.
You mean the straight up conservative Republican?
Okay, well, I don't know about him in life.
Well, this dude literally looks like he beats his wife and everything like that, and does a whole bunch of drugs and all that. Like,
that's Johnny Depp, and he's a recovering drug addict. He used to do all the drugs.
Yeah, I'm not saying Chris Evans.
Well, they're
beats his
both
wife,
recovering
Captain
drug
America.
addicts.
Yeah, no, what's his name? Steve. What's Captain America's name?
Steve Rogers.
Yeah, Steve Rogers
Steve
would beat
Irwin.
his wife. Not Chris Evans. He's a great man. He's a wonderful man. But yeah, I don't know, man. Yeah, Julian's saying it might be jealousy. Yeah, it probably is. Like, I don't know. I don't know what my fucking problem is with Captain America, but every time I've seen his
Your
face,
problem is because you like Iron Man so much, and Iron Man hates Captain America.
probably, yeah. Fucking, I don't know, man. Like, just that character and that stupid fucking shield just running.
Yeah, he's an asshole, right, Tony?
I mean,
Tony's like, I don't give a fuck. You're fat. And it's like, oh shit.
and that's how Stan Lee designed Tony. He designed it to be the biggest piece of shit, but then you feel sorry for him because he was stuck in a robot suit the whole time.
Exactly, which is good.
Well, all I want is Thanos' cheeks spread wide, Ant-Man in those cheeks.
That meme needs to stop. Please,
No, it don't.
For the love of God.
It's
I cannot,
needs to grow.
more so than watching this movie, I'm more hyped about this movie happening. So
Alan,
that
Nick.
doesn't die. What?
Jet. Like the Russo brothers have made memes about it, and Josh Brolin literally took a shit on the toilet in representation of him getting ready to take Ant-Man on.
Yeah, see, so fuck this world. I'm looking over here in the goddamn YouTube chat.
I don't care how strong you put those cheeks, Brolin. He's gonna come up that ass. He's gonna take you out.
Yeah, how am I saying? What if they just animated with CGI? Yeah, with the whole Transformers thing. Yeah, I definitely think they should do that. Rojo's saying down about was the best character in Beast Wars. That's true. It's another dick character that's fucking awesome. Most
Rojo, you know what's gonna happen with that live action? For both of y'all, you're gonna see dino balls.
Wait,
Yeah, I'm fine
how
with
do you do a live action of Beast Wars if you don't want people? It would all just be animated people and trees.
Yeah.
Oh, just do an animated feature.
Okay. Well, like Alita, because Alita Battle Angel is basically animated.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is weird. That was actually, I will say, what they did with Rosa Perez or whatever the fuck the last name is. She looks like a real person. I didn't know she was animated until I watched a review and they were like, "Yeah, she's animated." I'm like, "What the fuck?" Like,
Well, I'm sure they did babe on it, but it's like, again, it's like the whole Lion King thing. It's like the backgrounds, the animals, and everything on screen is animated, but it's a live action movie.
yeah, I'd be down for that. That'd be cool. But then again, it's like, I don't know. It just depends on where they're actually going to do the movie, like what time zone and what they're going to do it. Not time zone, like what time it takes place. Well, one more thing before we get the fuck out of here and start talking about like the actual topics that we actually wrote inside the description. Apparently, GameStop is saying that they're going to be a new console. I don't know if they're doing this to kind of get people ready to spend their money at GameStop. Like, ooh, I'm going to buy the new console. Alan, do you think that this is true at all, or do you think they're trying to spark up some kind of interest in the industry so they can make money?
It's been rumored everywhere that the consoles are, because obviously, like, it's been 5+ years, I want to say, since the like, I know it doesn't feel like that, but the PS4 came out, I want to say 2014?
14, yeah, 14. And then 13 was Xbox One.
Yeah. So they came out roughly around 5 years ago, which that's, except for the weird shit that happened with the Xbox 360 and the Kinect and all that stuff that extended the lifespan. The new consoles are ready to come through the gate. The thing is we don't know that because they're not ready. But investors, people in the industry, people building these fucking things, they know exactly what the PS5 and the Xbox 2, or whatever the fuck they're going to call it, they know that these things exist. So shit gets leaked all the time. Just talk to PayPal and the fucking Steam leaks. Steam leaks every fucking year around the same time. I'm sure GameStop knows because they got to get ready. They got to get ready to start getting their systems updated. They got to start with price points. They got to clear stock out of their fucking stores. I'm sure they fucking know. My prediction is that it's going to be announced next year and it's going to come out in 2021. So PS5 2021.
PS4 like literally at the end of its life cycle?
Not necessarily, because if you remember, like, what you bought your system, I want to say what, 6-7 months ago?
Oh, about 4 actually.
So yeah, you bought it. Okay, it's going to be at least 2 years. So 2021 before the PS5 is out. It doesn't mean PS4s are going to explode. It's going to do the exact same thing that the PS4 did. It's going to have this weird transition period where there's going to be games coming out for both for like at least a year and a half. So you're looking at 3 more years of the PS4 at least.
Damn. Okay. Well, I mean, I'm not even gonna complain. It's just, I guess I gotta get PS4 Pro, But I do want to get some kind of update as far as my, like watching something in certain resolutions. But yeah, kind of saying my shit just exploded. What your your PS4? Or?
Yeah, just committed suicide. It's like, gotta buy my brother now. Boom.
Yeah, it's not like that. That's not gonna happen. It's gonna be because again, I remember when the 360 and PS3 and PS4 and all those systems were out. I told my friend, the day Call of Duty doesn't come out on the previous gen consoles, they're dead. That's the day they died. And as soon as that happened,
I'm just coming walking after that ether where it got announced, and my PS4 is just gonna be dangling from my belt.
Oh, get in the game. No, man. Like, yeah, I'm hyped for. I'm hyped to know what the next Xbox One thingy is going to be, the sequel to that, because I'm not gonna get a current Xbox One. I've seen so many broken down piece of shit Xbox One X's, like the $300+ ones, and I'm just like, how the fuck does this cost that much money? And how is this an upgrade? It's the same fucking thing, except this one doesn't work. Like, it's weird. I've seen a lot of those, man. It's insane. As well as like the PS4 Slims, man. Those the HDMI issues they have. How many times they fucking basically what do you call it, like debrick or whatever, overheat. Like, dude, I don't know what's going on with that too, because they use the same parts, right? The same fans and everything.
No, because the Slim was a upgrade. Like they still had the same kind of chips, but basically had like the same. It's the same power, like between the Slim and the regular PS4. But they updated the fans. They would use smaller. They would use smaller, better fans. Because I've never seen any problems. I have a Slim right now, and it's silent as hell. But it's like they're able to basically get upgraded parts.
Silent as hell. Nothing.
I don't know, man. But I just. Yeah, we'll see what happens with that. Hopefully GameStop is not fucking lying. Who knows? But
why are they even making a console anyway? Like, who? Like, they're already gonna be gone in like the next 3 years. So like, really decided they're gonna try to stay relevant.
I think what it is that
Nintendo
Switch is fucking them up bad. Like, I will say Nintendo Switch is so easily purchasable because its price is not really that bad for what you get. I mean, you're gonna be able to play like the newest games like Mortal Kombat 11 and probably Call of Duty. And then you still get your Mario shit too, which is like something that no one else can do. And then you get to take it with you everywhere. It's just like, why would you not get a Switch?
Fucking trash, death to Nintendo.
No, it's probably like again, but Nintendo Switch is probably what's keeping GameStop relevant because hey, that's where you buy a Switch. So people are like rushing over to GameStop, and then if people like give their Switches up, that shit doesn't stay on shelves. You can't keep a Switch on the shelf. As soon as it's on there, it's sold.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, Nintendo is basically helping out GameStop because literally the only reason I ever go there is to get fucking cards for Pokemon or some shit, or some special event that you can only do at fucking GameStop.
Yeah, exactly. So they need, the industry needs Switch because the industry kind of needs GameStop.
No, actually, that's the thing. The industry doesn't need GameStop because with places like Walmart that sell everything, they already have their own electronics division where people can buy that stuff and have people to talk there. Electronic places in general sell consoles. The industry doesn't need GameStop. The industry hasn't needed GameStop in 5 years because of digital, of 8 or 9 different places to buy physical media, and at least twice that to buy the actual consoles. I'm surprised GameStop is alive, and Julian pointed out in the chat, because of ThinkGeek and all the other shit. The reason they're alive is because they're selling merch, which you can't easily get anywhere else.
Yeah, but it's just it's one of those things just buy consumer brand shit. It's technically we don't need
Plus,
Walmart.
I can just go to Hot Topic for fucking merch now. They do that too. So
yeah, but it's online, a lot of GameStop stuff is very you could only get it online only. So it's if you had that shit in store, you feel well, why am I gonna go pay shipping? I could just walk in and get whatever merch I want, whatever pop figures I want. That's what's keeping them relevant. Is they're movie theaters now. The extra shit that's besides the product they're there to sell is keeping them afloat.
I was going to ask you really quick, like, how much of the industry, percentage-wise, do you think is sold on physical media?
Oof! Oh my god, that's a fucking difficult ass question, man.
Because
Like,
I already
I
have
can't
what
answer
I think. I'm not saying I'm right, but I have what I think, and it's just like that's why I think is the reason why I think GameStop needs to be around. And I say what that is actually 40% of the industry. The problem is that there's another part of the industry that no one talks about, which is the internet industry. The internet and just cable providers and internet providers have gotten so fucking smart now that they have all these fucking things. I'm not just talking about net neutrality. I'm just talking about in general. They have this whole situation where they you can't spend this much gigabytes on your internet, your Facebook, and your video gaming, but then the systems themselves don't have so much hard drive space in them. All this crazy shit going on, and it's like, dude, you need to have a place where you can get physical media, because when you get all these things digitally, you will not be able to play them. You will not be able to buy something for somebody else. I don't know why PSN doesn't have a gift something to your friend.
That's your point, Nick. I'm trying to play Fable 2 on my Xbox 360 because I bought it digitally.
Gross.
And I can't play it now because the Xbox network does not talk to the system anymore.
Yep, exactly. And then it gets to the point too where it's like, there's a lot. When I say 40%, 20% of that is, or half of that 40% is people just buying themselves games. People like, what do you call that when you buy something before it comes out? Pre-ordering shit.
Sure, no, that's a decent percentage.
There's also that other half though. That's your grandma, your grandpa, your girlfriend who doesn't know shit about stuff, but she wants to buy you something because she wants to see you fucking happy. They need a place to go to buy this shit. They're not going to get most of that at Walmart. Walmart has one fucking wall, for that particular console, and then just a bunch of other shit to upscale you on. Hey, why don't you buy like the cards?
The thing is, that percentage is not bad. 40%, yeah, because again, it's been dwindling. I was actually going to put it higher at 65%, because I just didn't want to throw it out because I thought you were going to say like 90 or some shit. The thing is I don't even think GameStop. I think GameStop represents 30% of the 65%. So less than half of the physical media is GameStop because there's so many other now. Back in the 360, when physical media was the only thing, yeah, that's the only place you could get it because Amazon wasn't really doing their thing and Walmart didn't give a flying fuck. They just had a garbage bin of games.
Yeah,
that was the thing.
Literally.
But now everybody wants to sell games. Every single fucking person wants to sell video games because it gets people into the fucking store. Even if they don't buy the games, that wall gets people into that area so that they can get some other shit. Because if Walmart got rid of their games, they'll survive. It's Walmart. Best Buy, same fucking thing. But that wall of video games gets people to at least get into their store. That's why they're selling that shit now.
Yeah, and that's the thing that's just like, I don't like GameStop and I don't like Walmart. I don't like any of this shit, but it's like they have to be there, in my opinion. I mean, who knows? Because I'm gonna tell you, no matter what, whether I feel this way and I'm right or wrong, there will be a day where GameStop will not be around. So like that's just gonna happen inevitably. I mean, it's just the way it is. And when that
Hollywood
happens,
videos.
yeah, pretty much. I mean, because Hollywood Video, I mean, Netflix found a way to do something smart. And I gotta tell you too, if that whole thing happened now with Netflix, I don't think Netflix would have won. I think if you tell someone, hey, spend $14 on videos you might watch, and they might be here next month when you actually have time to watch it, no one would have done it. But back then, Netflix actually had a pretty good fucking service for a pretty fair-ass price. Now it ain't the same. Like Netflix, I gotta tell you, dude, I think people are really like, fuck Netflix.
No, it was back in the day when if you want to pirate stuff, you had to know how to work Pirate Bay and actual like web links and doing VPNs and all that. And now, I hate to say it, pirating has got so easy that you just put on that fucking ad blocker and you can go to any streaming service and you don't have to download nothing. You just press play.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, and as somebody that knows a lot of people and has dealt in that world, the reason why pirating isn't as rampant is not because it's not super easy. It's because people don't fucking know how. Like, we run the after hours. What is the number one question people ask me? Hey, Alan, can you get a link? I Google that shit in front of y'all. I'm not trying to, like, insult anybody. But it's not as easy as we make it seem because we're in that world. But the average Joe doesn't fucking know how to do this kind of stuff. So Netflix makes it easier. One of the business models for Netflix was, well, let's get movies from around the fucking world that the only way people can get is through pirating. And since the average Joe doesn't know how to fucking pirate, they'll get our service because they're like, hey, what the fuck is this shit? I heard about it, now I can get it.
I'm more than sure Netflix got weed legalized, by the way.
Probably.
Probably.
But I'm not even fucking joking. Nick, I'm pretty sure were you any of you guys early adopters of Netflix?
Yeah, back in the day. I mean, I got like what?
How many weed documentaries were on that fucking queue in the early days of Netflix when they just started streaming?
Well, yeah, but I think that was because those guys weren't so like, oh, you need to make sure to put this in the right light, blah blah. I mean, they're defending weed. They're like, fuck it, who gives a shit? Just as long as people watch it, we don't care, bro. You know what I mean? Like that's gonna happen. You know, then you'll get like a documentary.
More. It was more in terms of like, yeah, we got documentaries that are underground. They were trying to do that Vice shit.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, and like I said, it's not like it wasn't a bad thing on Netflix back then to do that. And I feel like even now, I think they would still do that a lot. Now you're talking about maybe they had an influence just in the world and like cities and shit, like making it legal. You think that's the case?
I think it was just got people used to the idea of like certain types of ways weed is actually used and certain type of the negative effects that are more scientifically accurate rather than you smoke a joint and it's like a scoop of your brain getting taken out your head. Like those old school like weed myths. I feel like it did a lot for that, especially for people that are between the age groups of 14 that 17 that really watched a lot of Netflix around that time. Like our generation that really was the first ones to have it. I think it was a really big influencer on how people see it. Especially like this is me, you have this conversation all the time where a lot of people use this slang term like, oh, weed is not a drug, it's just a plant. And a lot of that shit comes from the bit with Cat Williams, and that was always on Netflix. Big indicators that a lot of people got a lot of their so-called drug knowledge from Netflix. And I think that's why you're seeing a lot of a cultural change here. And they had the big one that Joe Rogan was on that was like shot from Canada that the dude had a legit underground bunker that he grew weed in. And it was like some random forest in Canada.
God damn.
And it was like they had a lot of these interesting stories. You had Conky Cowboy that came out around that same time that told us crazy stories about Florida. And Alan, I sat you down to that one. That shit was like an actual theatrical movie. And a lot of that stuff wasn't really being shown. It really wasn't getting granted money because there was no blockbusters anymore. There was no other places you could really get and sell these movies because everything was mainstream. So here comes Netflix was a streaming service that's just trying to throw everything on there so people can watch their library. And these things blew up and became very popular. And I think that had a lot of outcome on the effect of how people view drugs and view certain things as well.
Yeah, no, I mean, I see your point. I don't think that had a huge part in that, but at the same time, too, I mean, I could see how, like, just the right person listened and was like, okay, fuck it, like, we're going to do this because it's popular to think otherwise to the idea of, you know, weed's bad or whatever the case may be. I mean, honestly, you know, I think it is, too. I think it's just, like, people just start buying weed. You know what I mean? It was like, you know what, this is not so bad.
I'm not saying, like, hey, man, we're going to put this on there and change people's mind. It was like, yeah, it was probably just, like you said, a CEO was like, yo, man, people like weed. People smoke weed, watch Netflix. Go ahead and put that shit on.
You know what's something that they tried to do the same thing and it didn't work out? They tried to do that for piracy documentaries. Do you remember the Pirate Bay documentary?
Yeah.
They did it really?
Yeah, they did. It was actually a really good fucking documentary too.
They did one on the Silk Road too. Like they're like when I said they turned to Vice, they legit did for like 2 years. Yeah. It was all about drugs and gang shit.
Yeah, so I don't know, man. It's fucking I don't know, man. But Netflix is still going to be around, just like, you know, GameStop's going to be around until, you know, the dollar collapses. I feel like GameStop. Here's the thing too, and I was talking to my mom about this today too. But we were talking about like movie theaters and how like now they're kind of a big deal again, somewhat, and it's because of all these new like, well, shit, Ganja got bougie as fuck trying to watch Shazam, I guess. Like, where were you at, by the way?
Man, my ass went to the fucking Alamo Draft House. I had fucking truffle popcorn. I had 2 large Sprites, bro. I had Milk Duds that was fresh. You ever had fresh candy in a fucking box? That's just great.
Yeah.
I had the chicken tenders with a thing called Shazam sauce on it. It was just some like, I don't know if it's
Shazam's all over your food, bro.
It basically just came all over my nuggets, and it was great. I enjoyed the warm, tasty, zesty. Do it again. I'm gonna do it again.
But yeah, but I think Alan said this in the Facebook chat about digital has slowly been taking over for a year now. Yeah, dude. I mean, it's getting to a point now where every movie theater is like, look, we don't got lots of people coming over here, but we know that our shit's trash because we are still living in the fucking 1998 realm of fucking movies when it's a completely different world now. Quality for this, you can get fucking trying to get a nice bootleg from a barbershop or some shit. Like, you know what I mean?
Nice bootleg from the barbershop.
Dude, I used to get all my bootlegs at the barbershop. I'm not sure.
But again,
but a nice bootleg?
Like, yeah, really good one.
Yeah, you could get some good bootlegs. That's how I watch Spider-Man.
Man. All right, so this is like some deep Florida shit. Everyone's a cook down there. But one of the things is I had an aunt that worked for American Airlines, and one of the things the flight people that used to do inventory, so you know the ones that come after the flights, they got the carts and they're just filling up the pillows, they're fluffing things up, they're cleaning things that looks like they're smudged or dirty. They're the ones that the cleanup crew, right?
Mm-hmm.
What those guys used to do is they used to jack the DVDs that the planes used to get, because on the 4 hours to 3 hour flights, they do a movie sometimes. It's old school back in the early 2000s and 90s before they had TVs and Wi-Fi and all that shit. They don't really do this anymore. But what they used to do is they actually used to give them like mainstream movies, things that are actually just in the movie theater. and that was a way to keep you from killing the flight attendants from where and be in the small ass seat for 4 hours. And what they used to do is they used to rip the DVDs and just make copies of it. So I would get these like theatrical quality bootlegs, man, because they were legit from the movie theaters.
Wow, that's actually pretty badass. Because I was wondering where they would get theirs. They probably had the same story that you have, but I would go to barbershops, and on top of having the disc, dude, they literally had covers. Like it was a full DVD with all the shit. Like
they would give them it wouldn't be the actual like DVD cover, but it would be the movie poster, and it's like a promotional DVD that the theaters would give to the airline companies.
Yeah, and the thing that like made me like go like what the fuck is that? I looked down and like they had the guy's phone number. Like if you want one, like you know, like Paramount Pictures is in widescreen. Also hit me up, bro.
I also sell a little bit of weed.
Yeah, it was awesome. And then being in a barbershop, it's like okay, what the fuck. But yeah, dude, like I mean, so for me,
my hair goes in there. They already know what I'm there, man. I'm not getting a cut. I'm looking for a dime.
For me, I didn't go to movie theaters for the longest time unless it was a big ass movie, and then I started going because the movie theaters were just nicer, man. Like the whole Dolby Digital thing. I know Raheem Togi Pop is always posting about that on Facebook and even in the chat over here. But yeah, man, the dine-ins, AMC dine-in. I mean, they literally bring food to your fucking seat, and then like you know.
Shout out to Alamo.
Yeah, and they're so cheap too. Like the fucking like just going to Dolby, it's like $20 to take 2 people. Like that's not bad.
Yo, there's a Harkins movie theater here that what they do is they do fresh food, but they do it buffet style. Mm-hmm. So you go in there, you pick all your stuff, and that line before you go in the movies, they take your ticket and you pay for your food right there. So it's all in one shot. And man, they got like Pizza Hut pizza, they got like Taco Bell nachos and shit. They got like fresh tenders, burgers, and fucking like it's a damn near a restaurant, that motherfucker. And it's self-served. So I mean, I'm gonna be a fucking pig when Avengers Endgame comes, because that's where I got my ticket. I'm just gonna be sitting down with all this food, and they got recliners. So they got the extra fat boy seat. I'm just gonna be reclined, just eating my fucking Pizza Hut and just being stoned out of my mind watching Thanos get fucked in the butt by Ant-Man.
Oh my god, you got stop that Thanos.
I'm so hungry.
No, but I like the reason why I even brought that up is because like they're doing that, and now as you can see, I think even like the not so huge up Thanos' butt movies, like they're doing better because people want to go and chill, just not just for the movie, but
you know what's actually helping out movie theaters, and like after I got drunk in Venom, I kind of believe this now. Alcohol sales that is really helping movie theaters at the moment.
Yeah, because people and then they come out happy as fuck no matter what bullshit they just watch. It's like woo, fuck yeah, man.
Yeah, again, like GameStop is like the movie theaters. They are making more money on everything else that's not the movie.
Well, yeah,
GameStop. That's what I was going to say though, is that GameStop is not, and that's why I was going to bring this up, because I want to hear why you think they are the same, but for me, I feel like they're very much not the same. Because GameStop, even as a person who used to love GameStop when I was like fucking 12. There was nothing different about their business except I spend more money for less shit now. And that's not even talking about the video games. It's talking about like like I remember before they would give you more for your trade-ins, and then if you do a certain deal where you bundle your trade-in, you get a bundle back. You know, just something that's kind of equal to it.
I remember what they used to do a deal if you had the old console and the new console was coming out, they would give you a pretty decent store credit. Now they don't give you shit.
Yeah, so it's just, I'm kind of wondering like what does GameStop or even Walmart, you know, their gaming section in Walmart, like what do they have to do that the movie theaters are doing? You know, like what is there equivalent to that? Is there a way to kind of buff it up?
Can I jump in here? Because I think there's a great example that'll go towards Alan's point is you see a lot of like the video game stuff from GameStop. It's very basic now. Like you just go there to buy the game, or you go there to buy niche items and goodies like figurines or some type of different like Naruto headbands or that kind of bullshit. Same thing that a lot of Hot Topic or Spencer's do. Mm-hmm. But their thing is more video game niche, so you'll find stuff that's really hardcore video game stuff there that they sell. And with the movie theaters, their thing is no longer selling the movie itself. It's selling the stuff around the theater, make you feel comfortable, trying to give you that home experience. So there's a reason to go to movies, and it's not just sitting in this crumbly-ass seat with this basic-ass popcorn that's $12. They're trying to make an experience of it again. And the reason they're similar is they didn't have to do that because before the actual going to GameStop, especially on a release night back in the early 2000s, was an experience in itself. They would do events, they would do activities. You have people that would come fucking nerd out and cosplay at different midnight releases. And you don't see that really anymore because of the digital media. Same thing with a lot of movie theaters. One of the things that I kind of stopped, the reason we kind of got onto the bootleg trade was the movie theater stopped caring about new releases. I remember when I was younger, we would go to this one movie theater. It was, I think it was a Movie Go. And basically what they would do is they would set up the whole movie theater in the theme of the biggest movie come out. And so like the mummy would come out and they would have this Egyptian vibe. They would have like things dressed up as mummies and different figurines set up in the different types of areas of the movie theater. And it felt like an experience. It felt like an actual movie premiere. Something you would see in those old cartoons from the 40s and 50s when movie premieres were a big deal. And I was a kid, and now they don't do that anymore. So what they're doing is trying to give you another kind of niche thing that will give you instant movie theaters, that will give you another experience, because they can't really recreate that anymore because movies are not that big of a mainstream entertainment. You have video games, you have VR, you have podcasts, you have a bunch of entertainment forms now that movies aren't as big as they were. It's like what I said is like Endgame is sold out probably in certain areas like New York, LA, where it's highly populated, but once I got online and I stopped looking outside of Denver, there was open seats everywhere. And that's because movie theaters have become bigger and they're a bigger brand now and they're easier and accessible. Whereas before, you had theaters actually sold out. So in terms of like why they're different, it's because they sell a different medium, but in how the store quality and how they sell the PR and how they sell the glitz and glams of their entertainment product has changed 180, almost in a similar way that they're operating today.
Okay, the reason that, again, people are calling me on the chat and people are calling me out here, the reason I keep saying that movie theaters and whatever are the same is because if you look at the numbers of how much they actually make for the movie tickets and new games, they don't make very much. That is why movie theaters sell their fucking drinks and popcorn.
They're both getting pirated like crazy.
Yeah.
Pretty much. But the reason that's happening is because of the fact that they're making so little, because of just how distribution, store stock, and just how business works nowadays with how they have to print everything, how they have to ship everything, and the cost of business has gone up.